Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Christina, and today I'm sharing with you what we have planned for the upcoming 2025-2026 homeschool year for my rising 6th grader. Welcome to the channel, guys. I am a homeschooling mama of 2, and we are going into our 6th year homeschooling in the 2025-2026 homeschool year, and very excited for what's to come. I have already posted our family subjects, so be sure to check those out if you haven't seen those, to see what we're doing all together as a family. But let's get into what my 6th grader will be doing this upcoming year. Okay guys, so I have everything laid out here, and I'll just go through all the different individual subjects that we decided to use this upcoming year. With this particular child, she is my rainbow baby. She is very independent, likes to work on her own, very diligent, likes a list, doing things step by step, checking things off, all of those things. So I have to take that into consideration when looking into curriculum. We were using some things for a really long time that just turned out not to be working. So we've been trying different things, and we've kind of landed on this for the upcoming year. But she's just a beautiful girl, and just I'm so proud of her. She has grown leaps and bounds, and I'm excited for her 6th grade year. She will be officially, at least as far as I'm concerned, be a middle schooler. So that's going to be fun and exciting, and we're excited to kind of jump into that new phase of our homeschool. So I'll just go ahead and get into what we'll be doing for language arts. So for language arts, for English, we're going to be trying ACE. So I showed this in my most recent unboxing. We wanted to do some remedial work. I like to do that at the end of the year, just kind of, fill any holes that I think might be there. If there's particular concerns that I'm seeing happening over and over, things like that. So I decided to try ACE, or ACE, I think it's ACE, for Accelerated Christian Education. This company's been around longer than I have. There's been many people who have graduated from this curriculum, whether it be from a Christian school or a homeschool. It is Christian material, obviously. They use the King James version for any scripture memory and all of that. It does include English, so grammar and some writing. I hear the writing is not super heavy, so we will be doing an additional writing program. But she has really enjoyed these, and so we're working through, right now currently, she's working through the ACE PACES, the GAP PACES. So when you do a diagnostic test, you take the test. You can do it online or you can do it on paper. We did it online. She just took some time quietly and worked through it, and it gives you like some paces that you could do to fill any gaps. So she's working on those currently. I don't have those to show you, but I was just planning to use those with her, and then we were gonna, continue with what we were doing, but she decided that she really liked them. We were doing easy grammar. That was the original thought of just continuing on with that. But, and even myself, looking through these, seeing her work through them, I like them. So there is some handwriting within here as well. All the paces have a test in the center that you would just pull out and give the child the pace to work on. So very straightforward. And I mentioned that a lot of the teaching is in these comics. So you have these characters, and the teaching happens here. throughout the book. So we've been making copies of those and putting those in a notebook. She keeps her own note-taking notebook for English and for math. So she liked that they did that. So now she's just keeping copies of those and just pasting them in there, and then that's what she's referencing when she needs to take the test. So that's been really good. We just have 8 here. So I'll show you this one. And so we have letter writing, writing envelopes, sentences, each paragraph cross out the sentence that does not tell about the topic sentence. Here we have a group of words having a verb form ending in ing with no helper as a sentence fragment. So we're going through that. There's checkpoints at the bottom of the pages so that I can mark off. So I just kind of go through it whenever she's done. Now these you want to average, usually when you're doing a full year's of English or any of their subjects, there's 12 of these paces that you receive, similar to like Christian Light Education or Life Pack, and so you work through those throughout the year. Each page takes about 3 weeks to do, so we do about 3 pages depending. Some paces have a little more pages than others, so you would just figure out how many pages you need to do a day to get them done within like a 3-week time period. And it's real easy to do, and you know, she's super independent, likes to do things like this. So this actually works really well for her. So we're excited to try ACE this year, see how that goes. This does go from, I don't know if they do preschool, but they do kindergarten, I believe, all the way up to 12th grade. So there's all kinds of subjects. In their realm of language arts, they have like word building, which is like vocabulary and spelling, and they have literature. So we're just gonna go ahead and try this and see how we like it. There's also all the other things like math, social studies, science, all of those other subjects. If you are interested, I will link it below so you can look a little further. Now for writing, we are going to try Writing with Skill. This is from the Complete Writer series from the Well-Trained Mind. So this is level 1. We have the student workbook and we have the instructor text. So these are very meaty and can feel a little daunting to look at. But when I was researching for a writing curriculum, this particular child does really well with creative writing. And obviously we want to work on more structure, but I didn't want it to be too, you know, like structure based where it's, you know, they're giving you, I still wanted a creative element is kind of what I'm trying to say here. And so when looking into this, it really spoke to me and kind of made sense for what exactly I was looking for. I really like that the teacher manual is exactly like the student manual, just with some extra teaching helps and notes that you can kind of help hold your child's hand. But this is really meant to be kind of independent, where she is reading the lesson and working it out on her own, and then I'm there as a guide. We're gonna see how it goes, but let's see here. Again, so we have basic skills, outlines, using the thesaurus, building blocks for composition, chronological narrative of a past event, chronological narrative of a scientific discovery of a past event, scientific discovery, so it kind of alternates, and it's using literature. So this is the Once and Future King, Tick Tock of Oz, 100 Greatest Science Discoveries of All Time, The Story of Mankind, Helen Keller, Tom Sawyer, The Hound of the Baskervilles, a lot of different Life in a Medieval Castle, The Princess and the Goblin, A Christmas Carol. So they're going through scientific description. Here's sentence skills is part 3. Character description, biographical sketch. Part 4, beginning literary criticism or prose. Research. Beginning literary criticism, poetry. And final project. So I don't know that we're going to get through this year. I'm planning on potentially doing it twice a week, so this might last us a couple years. But I think it's so meaty. I mean, there's a lot packed in here that will be just fine. But then we'll see. She might really enjoy working through it. I don't know. I'd have to just see how it goes. This is not like, you know, your traditional way of learning how to write. So, but, you know, watching the writers' videos and explanations and other people's flip-throughs and talk-throughs about it, it really seems like it should be a good fit for her. So I'm excited. And just a quick look at the instructor manual for anybody interested. So it has everything that your child has in their book, just extra notes. So it shows you what the student instructions are, and then how to help the student with step 2. Gives you some ideas there. Step 3, write summary sentences. So that's what the student sees, and how to help the student. So there's quite a lot in here, and it's really puts it in a conversational tone. So if you even want to just read this to your kid, you could do that. So excited to see how writing with skill level 1 goes for her for writing. Now for handwriting, she's been doing pen time since the first book. So this is pen time 6. These are really affordable handwriting books. I think they're like around $6 on Rainbow Resource. So it's a really pretty handwriting or cursive that they're teaching. So it has little stopping points within the book where you're copying a poem, and then you can color it, pull it out. We usually hang these in the house when they're finished. You can send them off to family members or friends, and the kids have really enjoyed them. So she is doing pen time 6 for handwriting. For spelling, we're doing building spelling skills. This is from Christian Liberty Press. This is book 6, and we tried this just recently. She's working through the book 4 because it's something that I had on hand, and I wanted to see if the layout was going to work before I went ahead and you know, bought her level. But she really is enjoying it. Again, it's very, she can use it independently. You can also work through this with your child. But they're broken into lessons. So you have your lesson 1. Study these list words using the study plan on page 1. So then they probably, in this particular book, have a study plan for you, if we can find it. So here's your study plan. It gives you a breakdown of how to work through the words, look at the word, study the letters, say the word to yourself, say it again aloud, copy the word on paper, close your spelling book and test yourself, write the word, open your spelling book again, check the word, study the word one more time, and test yourself by writing the word again. it gives you some ideas there to practice those. Lesson 2 is vocabulary and dictionary work. Lesson 3, foundations, write each of your list words 3 times on a separate sheet of paper and then work through this activity. And lesson 4, taking stock, take your first practice test and write the words on a separate sheet of paper as they are read to you. And then this activity, what's in a word. So I like how they break words down in this book. They do it phonetically. They also go into the prefixes, the suffixes, the Greek origin, all of those things, which I think are really helpful in breaking words down. So that's kind of some vocabulary is in here, and it's just worked out really well for my kids so far. So we've been, I don't know, been working on this a few months now. So I'm excited to just continue that. For vocabulary, I actually just printed this off. So I have the 5th grade and the 6th grade of the 240 vocabulary words kids need to know. 24 ready to reproduce packets that make vocabulary building fun and effective. And it's just vocabulary activities. And I just printed both workbooks, so I have to bind them. So some of the answer keys are in here. I just take them out and bind it for her and put a cover on it. So she's just going to work through these. Yeah, the 6th grade book is in here, if I can find it. Yeah. So there's the 6th grade one. And if I can link this, I think there was like some spelling printables on there as well. If I can find the link, I will make sure to put that down below, but I'm excited for her to just work through that just for some extra vocabulary practice. So we have Reading Detective. This is A1, grades 5 through 6. This is from the Critical Thinking Company. This is an older version that I got used because I wasn't sure how we would like it, you know, and I didn't want to spend the $25 that it would have cost. So I wanted to check through it because I know there's other levels, and if we like it, we can continue with it. So there's fiction and nonfiction topics, award-winning literature, a variety of genres and styles. So this is just a reading comprehension. This would be something that we probably would only do once a week. So I'm excited to try it. I know I hear good things. People say really good things about this particular reading comprehension from the Critical Thinking. So we will be utilizing this in our language arts. So for reading, we have a progeny press for Charlotte's Web. This was her choice. She wanted to kind of dissect this book and go through it. We've read it as a family. We've watched the movie, but she wanted to do it. So this is just a literature guide. Kind of sets the tone for the book, sets the child up for what they're about to read. There's pre-reading activities, and then it takes you through the chapters, and then you're working on vocabulary and comprehension throughout the book. There's descriptive writing exercises and digging deeper, which kind of would consist of various either craft ideas, writing ideas. Sometimes there's even like recipes, and we enjoy them. So she will be working through that. That's probably what she'll do in the beginning of the year. And we're also going to be using a resource, a literature resource from Christian Liberty Press. Let me pull it up on my phone so I can tell you what that is, and I'll put a picture up at the top as well. Okay, so we're going to be using Discovering New Worlds Through Literature. And this covers, there is, let's see, 8 units. And it covers discovering a world of adventure, a world of biblical stories, a world of heroic faith, so missionary stories, a world of family, A World of Friendship. So these are just various excerpts and things from stories. We have Discovering a World of Fables and Folktales, A World of Poetry, and A World of Great Quotes. And there's questions, comprehension questions within those chapters, and also kind of just an activity component as well, just for additional ideas. I wanted her to have just a literature component that kind of brought in these different genres, fiction, nonfiction, that she could read through and work through and learn about in this 6th grade year. So I came upon that, and that looks good and something I think that we can fit into our schedule. So I don't have that yet, but we are excited to try that. Also some additional reading. We have 10 Girls Who Didn't Give In. So they're talking about Blandina, Perpetua, Lady Jane Grey, Anne Askew, Liskin Dirks, Marion Harvey, Margaret Wilson, Judith Weinberg, Betty Stam, Esther John, Inspiring Stories of Martyrs, Esperanza Rising, The Bronze Bow, which I might end up reading as a read aloud. If I don't, depending on how the literature from Christian Liberty Press goes, we may or may not do a Progeny Press guide. I'll have her work through that, or we'll just read it as a read aloud. So I haven't decided on that one. We have Wish, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. So this is like a tiny little book, but we saw the movie during the holiday season. So I thought it would be fun for her to read it around that time next school year. Then we have Island of the Blue Dolphins. And we have What a Character, Inventors and Scientists. So this is a series from Master Books, and I'll have her read through that. So these are some like additional reading, and with these I do print her out a reading journal, so she'll just give me a summary of the book and kind of write some things down that stood out to her about those, alongside the literature that we're doing as far as curriculum. So for Bible resources, we do Bible as a family, but I'm keeping it lighter so that she can do some things as well. Now, she reads her own Bible. That's something she does. She does a reading plan. She has other study guides and things that she goes through, and she usually does that in the morning before she even comes out of her room. But I wanted her to do some additional things. We love Jesus around here, and all that we can learn, we're excited to do so. So we have the 10-minute Bible journey. This is the big picture of scripture and 52 quick reads. So I haven't decided how exactly. I think I'm just going to have her read, during morning time. And they're really short. Like the chapters in here would be. So the kids usually come and do their independent work, while I'm doing other things. So this is something she can do during that time. So here would be a reading day. So we have this page, and that's it. So it just looks like on average 2 pages. Like that's doable. Here's a bonus. So that's not bad. So I think this will be good. And it kind of just goes, a little deeper summarizing it, which I think will be helpful because, again, she does read directly from her Bible. And this just gives kind of a little more context, some additional details. There's a key verse and a wrap-up. So I think this will be good for her. 52 accounts with explanatory notes, devotional passages and summaries, convenient fold-out timeline, and scores of little-known facts. So I think that will be good for her to work through. And she will be working through More Than Words Level 2, which is a Living Faith Bible curriculum. This is written from Rebecca Spooner, who does Gather Round. This is published by Master Books. So we did the level 1 when she was in 2nd grade as a family, when my youngest was little. So she will be working through this, and she's been looking through it, and she's really excited about that. So here's like a suggested daily schedule. It's meant to do 4 days. So there's a story, scripture study, picture study, character study, and there's poetry and art in here, hymn study, and that's just kind of what's in here. There's some review. So quarter 1, Who is God? Here's a story, which I think her children wrote some of the stories. Talk about it, what you read, narrate a prayer, missions. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to make a spy kit. So it gives you a list of what it would be that you need. There's copy work, scripture study, some question and answer, who, where, how, what, when, how does it apply. Another mission, your mission this week is to use your spy kit to observe and record characteristics of a good father to help us learn more about God the Father. That's fun. We have picture study, here's some art. More Than Words mission update. Memory work to color. Character study. Thesaurus treasure hunt. So you're looking for synonyms, antonyms of the word humble. What does the Bible say? So you can go through these different verses and check them off. Not on my own strength. Write or say a prayer, asking God to help you grow in humility and thanking Him for the good work He is doing for you. Memory work. And she also does memory work in ACE, her English, so I'll leave that up to her as to how much she wants to take on when it comes to that. We also are involved in our church, so it really depends on what she wants to do with that. But that looks really, really good. And we loved level 1, and I always wanted and intended the kids to do the level 2 when that time came, so I'm excited for her to do that. Now for math. She's continuing on with Saxon. She's doing Saxon 5-4 now. We jumped into this program this current year, and it's working really well. This is a spiral math program. So we have the tests and worksheets. So in here are timed tests that they would do before they do their lesson for the day. And you would just time it for like 5 minutes, and they would work through the page and just kind of get better at it. So in here, and then there's like manipulatives sometimes that they would pull out and use. All your tests are back here as well. So it tells you when a test is about to come. If I can find the page. Let's see. So here in the test section, there is a schedule. So, you take test 1 after lesson 10. So it's real straightforward, easy to understand. So that is the tests and worksheets. Here's the solution manuals. This is for me for grading. All of your answers are in here. And they do work out a lot of the problems, which I find helpful if you ever need to work that problem out with your child. And And here is the workbook. So we don't write in these. She has her own notebook that she writes the lessons. Now with the Saxon, we use the Dive into Math videos, and we absolutely love them. This is from Dr. Shorman, who also does Shorman Math. And I love the trajectory that they have you on. We're definitely considering doing Shorman Math for the upper math levels, just because we've really enjoyed his way of teaching the Saxon books. So how she does, they provide, when you sign up with the Dive into Math, it is a digital. They also have CDs, but it is a digital, and you can download those. So those are for you. You pay for it once and you can use it for your family. So I'm excited to use that with my younger child as well. And they provide you with like a teacher guide and some guidance on how to use the Saxon books. So you're not necessarily using the Saxon books as this is laid out. You're using it as Dr. Shorman lays out in their teacher guide. And so we do a timestamp. We only do math for about 40 minutes. Well, she does her 5 minutes test, and then we do 40 minutes of the workbook. And that includes the videos. So whenever we get to a new lesson, so here's like lesson 40 or lesson 43, she would, instead of reading through this lesson written out, she watches the video. So she works through the video, which is like the warm-up and then the new concept, and works through that with Dr. Shorman on the video, and then comes and works through the problems. And he also, once you've been doing Saxon for a while, he gives kind of a guideline as to what numbers to do. So we don't do all the numbers. Since this is a spiral curriculum, we're usually doing like the evens one day, the odds one day, kind of that sort of thing. So we're alternating and just kind of following the guidelines and the Dive into Math suggestions. And that's worked really well because Saxon has been known to be one of those math curriculums that can be just really cumbersome and take a really long time. So having them break it down for us and help us kind of simplify it a little bit and also get the benefits from it has been wonderful. So we really enjoy the teaching from the Dive into Math. And again, you buy the download and you have the download for your kids. So that's just a money saver right there. I don't think it works like that for the Shorman Math. I think it just lasts, for the year. And then you would have to rebuy for your younger kids. But for the Saxon program, I think it's wonderful. It's been so helpful for my daughter. With this particular child, we jumped around math a lot. But I'm realizing some things, when you're homeschooling, you're gonna make some mistakes. You're gonna realize some things a little later on. So I am gonna do some shifting for my youngest now that I know this and we've seen how well this works. And that's something I'll talk about in his video. But we really, really like the Saxon method, and it's been very helpful for my daughter. Now for some extras, I will be having her read the Usborne Managing Your Money. So this, just talks about percentages, what's an in-app charge, what is interest, why keep receipts, how do credit cards work, internet banking, savings, what are student loans, how do you budget. So she has questions about these things, but I think 6th grade is a great time to kind of go a little deeper in that. So I'm going to have her read through this as well. For logic, she's going to just continue with mind benders. We did the level 3 this year. We're currently working through that. So I just got the next level. And this is just deductive thinking skills. She enjoys these, so we will do that. And this child has interest in becoming a baker and having her own bakery. So she wants to be an entrepreneur. At least that's where she's leading with the that's where she's going now. I mean, things could always change, right? So I got her a Thinking Tree journal. This is the Baker's Fun Schooling Journal, Homeschooling Curriculum Handbook for Students Majoring in Baking. So she's basically taken over baking in our home, and all the treats and all of that come from her now. So I thought this would be just a fun way to expound on that interest and, you know, go a little deeper into her love of baking, learning about it, and other bakers and different activities that she can do here. So some examples in here. Draw or list 6 things you want to learn about or baking skills you want to master. Draw the covers and titles here of 9 different books that will help you study baking. Baking challenge. Research substitutes to common ingredients. Change one of your favorite recipes using some of these alternatives. So we're always talking about this. You know, there are so many substitutes you can use. And so that is good that she can do some research on that. Plans and priorities. What you are thankful for. Let's see. Relax and be creative. So just coloring. We have baking challenge. Try to make something delicious out of 4 ingredients. What ingredients will you use? So now she's coming up with her own little recipe. Do the takeout challenge. And no, I'm not talking about fast food. First, find a chocolate chip cookie recipe. Make 4 more batches, but with each batch, remove a key ingredient like baking powder, brown sugar, eggs, or butter, and then bake all the cookies. This will literally take you to the next level of understanding the science behind each ingredient and will help you be a better off recipe baker. You can try to do this with other desserts too. Nice. Research and make a paleo dessert. So learning about different ways of eating. Math practice. Use this page for math practice, graphic design, and creative measurements. If you have a book on mathematics, use this page for notes. Okay, baking dreams. Design something beautiful you want to bake. Look at photos in your cookbooks or online for ideas. So just a way to sort of expand your mind on the idea of becoming a baker and what all that entails and doing it in a creative way. So I thought this would be a fun add-in for her to do. We have writing skills. This is for typing. So she works through this. This is from Diana Hambury King, and it's real simple. And she just works through these, and there's kind of a stand in the back. So she just stands it up at a computer when she's working through it. So she takes her time through this. Some of these pages she works over and over just so she could get it right. I'm totally fine with it. It's just practice, learning how to type better. So this is what we use for that. And also we will be going through book 3 of What's the Big Deal? This is from the what is God's Design series? Yes, the God's Design series about sex. So why God cares about sex. We read book 2. So I read that with both my children this year, which I'll talk about in my end of year recap, but that does talk about what it is, why our bodies were made, why God made us, all of that. So that is the talk in that book 2. So that talk has been had with both my children, but they do it in a very simple way, easy to understand, easy way to open the door and have your children ask questions. So that's really a resource that I was looking for, and saying it in a way, saying it in a way that they understand this was God's intention, this is what it is, and I wanted a resource for that. These have been great for that. And that book 2, which here, I have it. For anybody curious. So this is the book too. So the ages, I mean, my daughter, when we read this, she's 11, and my son's at the height of this, and I thought it was perfect. They have heard the terminology of sex from other kids in the neighborhood, so it's a conversation that needed to be had because they could hear so many other things before I get to have that conversation. So this allowed us to have that conversation. Now they know, now they understand their ever approach. They know what it is. And this just goes a little deeper for her particular age group. This isn't anything I would do with a younger child. I've kind of skimmed through it. I think I will again, just before we start using it, which will probably be the latter end of our next school year. I don't think it's necessary currently, just because we've already talked about the birds and the bees, so to speak. So this is just a resource that will go through this upcoming year as well. Okay, so this is what I have planned for the upcoming homeschool year of 2025-2026. And she also does volleyball, and again, we are involved in church, so she does things there. And we try to do community programs and things when we can, just to get outside of the house and do all of that. So this is what I have planned for her curriculum, and we're excited for the upcoming year. Let me know down in the comments if any of these resources are something that you'll be using, if you've used them in the past or are considering them. If you have any questions or want to see anything a little deeper, let me know that too, and I can get that done for you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, this curriculum is for my rising 6th grader. We have already posted our family subjects, so I will link that down below so you can check that out and see what we're doing as a family. But this is all I have for you today. Stay tuned if you are interested in what I have for my rising 3rd grader, because that video will be coming up here soon. And I appreciate you sitting with me on this one, and I hope you all have a good one. God bless.